Hi, it's Richard in the Old Oaky Workshop. Welcome to an episode on car ramps made out of wood naturally. One of the ways to build a car ramp out of wood would be very simply to make it out of solid lumber. So here we've got a little sketch of pieces of plywood, strips of wood, might be OSB, half-inch plywood, 3/4 inch plywood, or whatever, just one stacked up on top of the other. Figure out your dimensions, figure out then what these lengths need to be as they graduate up from here to here. Maybe you want this to be 2 feet, maybe you want the ramp to be 3 feet, so your first piece is obviously 5 feet, and just continue cutting these shorter and shorter as you go up. Now, I did some calculations on the cheapest lumber to use, and turns out OSB, which usually comes in about ½ inch or 9/16, 7/16, something like that, is the cheapest thing to be. OSB, oriented strand board, is cheaper than plywood, and everything is cheaper than solid wood. So this is a very safe type of ramp, and it obviously won't collapse because these are just, sandwiched on top of one another, so it won't crush. And if I were doing this, I think I would not bevel these edges. You can see they're like little stair steps. I think that'd give you a little bit more bite as your tire rolls up on that thing. With a front wheel drive car, for example, would bite in there a little bit better, and eventually they're going to get beveled anyway because they're going to wear. But I think that's the way I would do that. Now let's suppose you want to be able to remove the ramp portion. If I did that and I built it out of solid material, as we just discussed, then I think what I'd do is I would build it in 2 pieces. I'd build the ramp portion as a triangle, and then this portion over here, the solid block that the tire is going to rest on, and those would be separate pieces. And then I would build a couple of gussets, one for each side, one for this side, one for the other side, and it'd be a piece of 3/4 inch plywood, and I would screw that piece of plywood down to the ramp portion like this with screws, and then I would create a slot in this piece over here of the gusset and run that slot through this block here so that you could take a 1x2 or a 1x4, whatever size you want, maybe a 1x3, and run it through there like a key in order to hold these two things together. So you'd have it in position when you run the vehicle up there. Then when the vehicle's up there, you pull this keyway out, and then you slide the ramp away from the block, and voila, you have better access underneath your vehicle. Now, on the one I built, I did not go with the solid wood plan. However, I do have a removable ramp. So this is the ramp, and these are 2x12s, okay? So this is solid lumber, and the reason I use that is because I had 2x12s, 2x8s, and 2x4s available scrap in the workshop, so I didn't have to go buy any. That was good. And this is 2x12, 2x12 here, and you ought to consider that width because a lot of guys build these out of 2x10, and you get those big old fat tires on SUVs and trucks up on there. That's not much leeway back and forth, so the width is really good to have that much. Gives you a little bit more play, a little bit more room for error as you drive your vehicle up onto this. And so I got this idea of cribbing. I've seen this cribbing before. Jack up a building or whatever, and you put these big old timbers in there crossways 9 degrees to one another, and that's what I finally decided to do. So this is a kind of a cribbing situation. These go across, and I got the stringers that go this way, got a stop block down here at the end, and then this ramp detaches from the block. So here's the other ramp with the ramp part removed. And as you can see, it looks like on this ramp that I've got 2 2x12s, but that's not the case. There's a 1 2x12, and then there are 2 2x4s on that 1x12 for additional strength. And then there are holes right here. There's one here, there's one here, and those holes match up with these all threads. I just drilled a 1/2 inch hole in there, grabbed some all thread, cut it off, rammed it down in there, and then those holes match up, and that's what holds the ramp onto the block. So you just flip that thing over and attach it, and we're good to go. Well, that's one way to build some wood car ramps. For more information, see the website, including some construction pictures and some other information. Visit oldoakieworkshop.com. Thanks for watching. See you next time.